Something is shifting across Africa, quietly, then suddenly. A continent long written about by outsiders is rewriting its own story. For generations, Africa was treated as a territory to manage, a market to extract, a population to supervise. But today, African nations are making something clear. They are claiming back their power, and for the first time in modern history, black leadership is not asking permission. It is asserting authority. This is not a rebellion. This is not isolation. This is maturity. This is a sovereignty era. Across the continent, governments are re-evaluating foreign military presence, renegotiating resource contracts, questioning old currency arrangements, and redefining alliances. Not out of anger, but out of clarity. African leaders are asking a simple question. If Africa is rich in land, minerals, labor, culture, and markets, why has it remained structurally dependent? That question alone is revolutionary, because once a nation begins asking it, the balance of power starts to change. What we are witnessing is not anti-Western sentiment. It is pro-African self-determination, and those are not the same thing. A confident continent does not reject the world, it demands equal footing within it. For centuries, African destiny was negotiated in foreign capitals. Today, that negotiation is moving home, and the symbolism matters, because when African nations insist that black leadership must control African policy, they are correcting a historical imbalance that lasted generations. This is not about exclusion, it is about ownership. Ownership of decisions, ownership of resources, ownership of direction. And perhaps most importantly, ownership of the future. Young Africans watching this shift are seeing something rare. Leaders speak in the language of sovereignty, not survival. That psychological change alone reshapes a continent. When the people believe they are in charge of their destiny, their expectations rise, and rising expectations build nations. But sovereignty is not only about removing external pressure, it also demands internal courage, because foreign influence survives where local accountability is weak. History teaches us a hard truth. External power always relies on internal cooperation, and the new Africa is beginning to confront that reality. Citizens are asking more of their leaders. Youth populations are politically awake. Civil disclosure is expanding. The message is clear. African power must serve African people, not foreign interests, not elite networks, not inherited political systems, but the population itself. This is the real test of sovereignty, not speeches, not symbolism, results. Infrastructure, education, economic ownership, institutional strength. That is how independence becomes permanent. The world is watching, because a politically confident Africa changes global dynamics. A continent of 1.4 billion people with the youngest population on Earth and vast natural wealth cannot remain a passive actor forever. And it won't. The new African posture is not confrontation, it is negotiation. Partnership without submission, trade without dependency, diplomacy without inferiority. That is a different Africa than the old global powers are used to, and it forces a recalculation everywhere. The future being shaped is not about kicking anyone out. It is about inviting the world into a new relationship, one built on respect. Africa does not need isolation. Africa needs leverage. A continent that controls its resources, controls its bargaining power. A continent that believes in its leadership, believes in its trajectory. And a continent that trusts its own voice cannot be easily spoken for by others. This is the generation that understands that. They are not rejecting globalization. They are redefining Africa's place within it. For centuries, Africa was told what it was. Today, Africa is deciding what it will be, and that difference is everything. A people reclaiming power is not a threat. It is a transformation, and transformations are rarely quiet, but they are often necessary. The sovereignty era has begun, and for the first time in a long time, Africa is not reacting to history, it is writing it. No more waiting for a seat at the table. The table is being rebuilt. No more borrowed futures. This one is owned. The shift is real. The momentum is unstoppable. This is Africa rising on its own terms. Thank you for watching RearView TV. If this story moved you, share it. If it challenged you, let's talk about it. I'm Nadia, and if you believe Africa's future should be shaped by Africans, subscribe and stay with us as we keep telling these stories.